So I actually don't know how to start this. Um,
We saw two movies that are new, or
I
kind of
ate an
new.
everything bagel. Speaking of which, no, it's fine. We can choose which one we want to talk about first. We're talking about the Northman and Everything Everywhere All at Once, by the way, in case anyone.
Yeah, I don't want to throw like the Northman some shade, but I think we should talk about that one first and
Yeah,
save the
I
better
think.
one for last, you
Okay.
know?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I,
let's do it.
I, I'm just gonna happily say that right here, right now.
Okay. Yeah, let's start with that. Yeah. So, what did you think about the Northman, Luca?
Yeah, I like the Northman a lot. I think it was a really well-made movie. Um, with like a few aspects that kind of took me out of it. Although it did kind of go, it was a bit weird in this kind of like generic like Viking kind of genre. I like that it was a bit different. Although a lot of it did kind of feel like the same as a lot of other stuff within the genre. Um, but obviously like it gets like an added bonus despite having all that shit just because it's like of the technical elements and how well it's shot and acted out and stuff. Like it definitely, even though some parts do feel very like on par with other like Viking, like period this kind of movie, the all the elements that are the same are done way better than in those kind of things. So, but yeah, it was a great movie. It was good.
Hmm.
It was good.
Oh, wow. I thought you hated it or something. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I didn't hate it.
Yeah. I really love this movie. So this is the same director as the guy who made The Witch and The Lighthouse, Robert Eggers. The Witch I haven't seen in a while, but I remember really enjoying The Witch, and The Lighthouse is just like honestly a modern masterpiece. So obviously I was really excited.
Yeah.
So I haven't really seen a lot of Viking stuff, if I'm being honest. Like the closest thing I've seen to Viking stuff are like the How to Train Your Dragon movies. So I'm not really well versed in terms of like Viking mythology and like Viking movies and stuff like that. Like I've never seen like the Vikings on the History Channel or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that stuff either. Like
uh
this movie kind of reminded me of the Green Knight in ways.
It reminded me of the
Um,
Lion King, if I'm being honest.
Really? I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, because like an
Um,
uncle kills his dad, he runs away, he becomes like a
Yeah.
proud, ferocious warrior, then he comes back to kill the dad and restore peace and
Yeah.
prosperity. I mean, it's like the reason why it reminded me of the Lion King because it's literally Hamlet but with Vikings.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
from what I understand, the story is like based on the myth that inspired Hamlet. So I guess I can't really say this ripped off Hamlet if this was the
Yeah,
thing
that's
that
true.
preceded Hamlet. So yeah, but like um the reason why I mentioned The Witch and The Lighthouse is because like there were a lot of like shots and there were a lot of like moments that reminded me of both of those I guess let's just get into spoilers because I feel like we can't really talk about the movie without spoilers.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
spoiler, yeah. So a lot of shots like I thought were just really, really excellent. Like one of my favorite scenes in the entire film was just basically all the weird shit. Like when all the weird shit was happening. Like
Yeah, same.
when Ethan Hawke and like young Alexander Skarsgård were like running around naked, like pretending to be dogs, and like they're farting and they're burping in front of like a naked Willem Dafoe, and he's like, yeah, this shall be your last teardrop, and you shall need it when
I
you
think
need
that
it.
was
I was
also my
like,
favorite
that was
part.
awesome. Like I fucking
Yeah.
loved that shit. And then like the berserker ritual where like that old guy is like doing a chant and they're doing a dance and they're all just like they're basically like tripping balls in front of like a fireplace while they're like screaming and howling. I was like, this is like, to me, like when I heard about like Robert Eggers like having to like deal with like studio interference and stuff like that, I was afraid that like they would have to cut out a lot of the weird shit or whatever, but like it was surprisingly intact, and like that's what I loved about this movie. Like yeah, it can get very like basic and conventional at times, but like I think it
Yeah.
shapes up with like all the weird shit, with like guys wearing furry suits like chanting in front of a fire and then like killing people by the truckload, like after like when they're like doing that invasion scene, which by the way was just really
Oh,
beautifully
that was my
shot.
favorite
Yeah.
sequence.
Yeah, like it was
Yeah.
all in one take, and like they just like kept going and going and going. They didn't cut at a certain point. It was like it was so awesome. Like
Yeah,
on a
that was
technical
really
level, that
cool.
was like really well done. Yeah. So
It really was, yeah. No, that
mhm.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
I also really liked the performance from Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh yeah,
Like
he's
like
great. Yeah.
specifically in that scene as well. I mean, he does it throughout the whole movie, but like you really feel like that he's just a fucking brute. Like the way like he moved his shoulders, just his physical performance. Like
Mhm.
he felt like a goddamn
Viking.
yeah, Viking, like proper berserker. Like he's gonna fucking wreck your shit if you even try to mess with him. Like
I don't know if you saw my review for this. I was like, it was honestly like one of the horniest reviews I've ever.
yeah,
Right.
I saw your review. I just remember you like thirsting over like oh my god, I can't say her
Anya
name.
Taylor-Joy. Yeah.
Yeah, and Willem Dafoe. That's all I remember from your review.
Honestly, like, can I just say, like, this has nothing to do with the movie, but like, as a straight man, like, if Willem Dafoe just like swept me up and took me away, I would be a-okay with that. So
Damn, maybe you're not so straight. as
maybe
you thought,
not.
Cindy.
Maybe now is this my questioning face? Yes. Speaking of Willem Dafoe, I was actually kind of disappointed how little he was in the movie. I mean, like his character was important in the sense that, and I guess like this is like, if I do have like minor issues with the film, I will say there were way too many sort of like, oh, like strange mystical figure talking to like Alexander
Yeah.
Skarsgård. Like first it's like Willem Dafoe, and then it's like Bjork, who, by the way, this is her first film appearance since Dancer in the Dark, which is surprising. I didn't know about that until I saw the movie, which was great. And then like
Yeah,
the
I knew
he
that.
witch, the naked he witch or whatever. It's like I like the idea of all these, but I feel like we're just like cutting to a different like side character. It's like first Willem Dafoe, then Bjork, and then this
Yeah.
dude. It's like it would have been more preferable if it had just been one character, like one like not to mention the Lion King, but like that's sort of like what Rafiki's role was. Rafiki was that like weird, crazy old guy who like gave the main character like a sense of like purpose and wisdom and stuff like
That's
that.
true.
It's like, and I feel like that role was like split apart into these three people. I understand why it was three separate characters, but I feel like more character development could have been was sacrificed for the sake of, you know, having these three different people, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did like how there were like different spiritual kind of people there, but yeah, I agree with you. Like I don't know. I think I would have, and even if there were these three people, I'd like to know about them a bit more. Like, because I feel like I knew enough about Willem Dafoe. Like, he was the friend of the original king, and kind of like this jester, kind of crazy, wacky old dude. But then, like, when the witch, I think she was a witch, like Bjork came on screen, I just started to like lose interest in who they actually
I was
were.
just
Like,
really
they
confused.
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, like they definitely were there for the service of the plot. And at one point, there's like Willem Dafoe's skull, which was really cool.
That was
like,
cool. Yeah.
Like, but yeah.
I think it had been any other actor, I wouldn't know who that skull was, but because like Willem Dafoe has such like a distinguishable face, like the moment that he witch like brought Willem Dafoe's skull, I was like, oh shit, that's Willem Dafoe, you know? So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, and obviously the character was there because like he Alexander Skarsgård had grown older, so Willem Dafoe obviously died.
I
That's
guess
why
so,
they had
yeah.
his skull.
Uh-huh.
But I do agree. Like those random characters did get a bit repetitive.
But
yeah.
these again, like these were like minor issues because there was a lot I loved about the movie. Like I wasn't very familiar with Alexander Skarsgård. Like I didn't see True Blood or any of this shit. I didn't see Tarzan. So like I was very unfamiliar with the actor, but like, you know, he was fantastic in the film. Like not just from like a physical performance, but like from like a very emotional and like psychological like performance as well. Like I keep mentioning like this was my favorite, but like legitimately my favorite scene in the entire movie was when Alexander Skarsgård confronts Nicole Kidman, and like she has that reveal where she's
Oh
like,
yeah, that was
she,
a great.
that was awesome. And like it really kind of like not only did it add like this extra layer of depth to the story, because like it could have been just a simple like, oh, like my son, you're here to rescue me, that sort of thing, but it's like it really kind of twists the narrative onto its head. And like the way like Alexander Skarsgård is just like reacting to like what Nicole Kidman is saying, he's like, I can't believe like you're saying all this, like you're an evil person, you're just as like vile and poisonous as like my uncle and stuff like that. Like that was like awesome, and that was legitimately my favorite scene in the entire movie. Like in a movie with like all this bloody action, my favorite scene was just like two people talking and like screaming and laughing and stuff like that. It was crazy. Yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of bloody and action, I don't know, because you got to see this in a theater. So maybe I have a different experience because it just hasn't come out in cinemas in South Africa yet. So I have to watch. Oh, did you see it
on VOD? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, VOD. The effects looked a bit weird at points. I don't know if that was in the cinema as well.
Are you talking about like the trees, like during those like tree scenes or whatever?
The tree stuff was a bit distracting, but I liked what they did there. I also liked the crows. I think some of them may have been actual crows, but I liked what they did with the crows. But more the gore just looked a bit weird. Like there's this one scene where like he like cuts open some dude's stomach and like the guts spill out, and it looked like the guts were like floating in front of his stomach. It looked like they were actually like a part of him.
Was this the scene after? Wait, was this the scene after the Nicole Kidman like reveal scene or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
I don't know. That looks cool. Yeah, maybe because I saw this in a theater, but like, and I was so like immersed with like what's going on that like there were some small things like that I didn't really notice. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but for the most part, they were really well done. Like. I don't know. I don't necessarily know why they needed so much budget to achieve the effects, because I think like a typical A24 budget could have achieved the same thing that this movie did. But hey, I mean, it's cool that he got all that money.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, it is bombing, and that's really disappointing because like I want to see more movies like this. I want Robert Eggers to have more money to do more weird shit. But
I think he said he wanted to work with lower budget movies from now on, which is honestly fair. Like,
yeah, I guess that's fair. You know,
The Lighthouse is amazing and it has such a low budget. So
yeah, if we can get more movies like The Lighthouse, then like that'd be great. Yeah. So
I think I just love The Lighthouse so much that I wanted something more like that, and I didn't really get that with this movie. I still really enjoyed this one, but
yeah, I guess like because so I had like different expectations. Like I knew I also love The Lighthouse, but I wasn't expecting like another Lighthouse. Like this is a very different movie, like compared to his other two. Like I don't even think like The Witch could have prepared me for something like The Lighthouse, because I saw The Lighthouse, I was expecting like another like The Witch kind of thing. But it was very different. It was very like unexpected. I didn't like it was a very different kind of movie. So when I went into this, like I had like zero expectations in the best way possible. I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna assume anything. I'm just gonna like the most I'm gonna assume is like there's gonna be some weird shit and like some great acting and some great visuals, like direction and stuff like that. And for the most part, that's exactly what I got. This is like a more conventional movie than he's made, but like I feel like he does enough with this kind of story that I feel like, at least from a visual angle, like I feel like he does enough. Like the second half of the film, like where he's like he pretends to be a slave and then like he kind of like fucks with like his uncle or whatever, like he takes all the body parts and makes like a minotaur, like a horse like figure or whatever from like killing all his friends, and then like confronting like Nicole Kidman's character and stuff like that. It was all this other stuff where it's like, wow, like this is not the direction I expected the film to go, you know, like
that's true.
Because, like, I don't know about you, but I was expecting, like, a lot more action scenes. I was expecting a lot more battle sequences. But, like, the most we got was that, like, one in, like, the first, like, 30 to 40 minutes for, like, after they do, like, the tripping balls, like fireplace thing. And then they, like, slaughter the entire... Like, I was expecting more stuff like that. But surprisingly, there was, like... The action sequences were kind of toned down a little bit during the second half. Not that I was disappointed. I was just kind of surprised, so...
Yeah, I think I was expecting it to be how it was. Well, I mean, I was expecting it to be a little bit more weird and Robert Eggersy, but once I discovered what it was doing, there wasn't anything that like I wasn't really going in expecting action anyway. So yeah.
So would you say
Um,
like you would like this a little more if you like saw it again now that you know what to expect, or?
Maybe. I mean, I'll definitely watch it again. Like, I still like it quite a lot. I mean, I like it a ton.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, maybe now knowing what it is, I'll like it more. But I will say the final battle didn't look that great. Like, it was a bit, it was a bit hard to understand what was going on.
Yeah,
Like,
it did get a bit Star Wars Episode 3 at times. It
I
did
don't
get
know.
a
It
yeah.
was just like I thought like a battle in a volcano sounds like super fucking cool.
Uh-huh.
And I was trying to because I knew that this was gonna happen eventually because like they say it earlier in the movie. They're like, "Oh, battle at the gates of hell."
Hmm.
Um, and I'm like, okay, I can't wait for this fucking battle. It's gonna look sick because we've seen like such great cinematography and visuals, like up until that point. And then it was kind of like unsatisfying for me. Like I wish it was like during the day, and then like the lava could have just popped a bit more, you know?
Oh, so you didn't like so the lighting was like a kind of a big
Yeah,
issue
the
for you?
lighting was weird. It looked dark, and like I found it hard to distinguish who was who because they both were just shirtless and just beating each other up.
They were actually naked. I didn't actually realize that till halfway through the fight.
Oh,
I
were
was
they
like, oh,
naked?
yeah,
Oh,
I was like, wait, are you guys naked? Like, I mean,
I think they had like little robes on, but I don't know.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, I guess
yeah.
I understand. I at the same time I do like I think making it at night makes it very quote unquote like cinema-esque, you know, it's like very stylistic. But like
Yeah.
I think like for me personally it would be cool because like we've seen this a ton in like other movies. Like I mentioned Star Wars Episode 3, but like any movie like
Yeah.
involving like, you know, two dudes going at each other like, you know, in like a lava pit like in the middle of the night. Like it would be nice if it changed up a little bit, but whatever. Yeah.
And even at night it could have looked really cool. Like they could have had some cool stuff with the lighting of the lava.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and like
I
in
just feel
earlier
like
in the
they didn't utilize it that well in with the final battle in this movie.
did you like the action sequence itself though? Because I thought it was pretty well choreographed. I thought like the fight was pretty well realized.
I don't know. That was like the one action scene like I didn't really like.
Oh
Because
really?
everything
Yeah.
else all the other action scenes I thought were really cool. Especially the first one when they like siege that village.
Hmm.
But this one just felt weird. Like it just felt very slow and like I guess you can kind of give an excuse for it because like a big thing about like Viking battle sequences is like, oh, who can roar the
Who
loudest
can
and
scream
like
louder than
yeah,
the other
who's the
guy?
biggest man and stuff like that. But so there's like a lot of pausing before they like hit each other and like a lot of like showing off and like rah. And I just think it got a bit like it was just a bit slow and anticlimactic for me at the end.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe again, like because we saw this in different media, because I saw this in the theater.
Yeah, maybe it looked
Yeah.
awesome in a theater. I
It
don't
looked
know.
cool. I really liked
Yeah.
the way it was presented, you know. So
Yeah.
and I was again because I was so immersed with the story and I was really invested in the characters. Like I guess it's like I guess that's like a fault of mine. It's like when I'm so interested with what's going on, like I just tend to not really notice like some of these minor mistakes and like minor details and stuff like that. So
All right. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like this was a really fun movie, you know. So it's
Yeah, it was a good
disappointing.
movie.
Yeah, it's disappointing that he won't really make another movie like this. Even if he wanted
Yeah.
to, it's like probably not gonna happen because this was like such a bomb. But like at the same time, I'm surprised they threw so much money at this in the first place. Because like when I heard that he had like a bigger budget, it's like, oh, so is he gonna make like a Ridley Scott type like Gladiator movie or something? But no, it's like it's a lot. It's still like a weird art house like Robert Eggers movie. It's like, well, like I'm disappointed that it bombed, but at the same time, like I'm not really surprised. You know, like I didn't really know like what the studio was expecting. You know, so.
It's also like there wasn't anything really to market like with this kind of movie because I guess like some of the actors are quite well known. Like Anya Taylor-Joy is like pretty like popular these days, and so is Willem Dafoe. But
Mhm.
everyone else is like Like, how do you tell people to like come watch this movie if there's like no Chris Pratt or fucking Tom Holland in it?
Yeah,
Like,
I
yeah,
think maybe that's why like something like The Revenant was so successful because they got actors like Leonardo DiCaprio and like Tom Hardy and all these
yeah,
people. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess star power really does make a difference. So.
Oh yeah, totally.
hmm So, do you have anything
Yeah.
else you want to say about the movie, or do you want to just jump right into rating? So,
No, yeah, I don't think I have anything else to really say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Closer to an 8 than a 10, but still 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed this. I think I like this more than The Witch. You know, not as good as The Lighthouse, but I think I like this a little more than The Witch. So yeah.
Yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10. I liked it a lot. I'm pretty solid on a 7. I think that's that. Yeah.
hmm
I don't know if I like it more than The Witch. I'll have to see The Witch again.
Yeah, me too. I'll need to
But
rewatch The
just
Witch.
from
Yeah.
memory, I think I think there I think I also gave The Witch a 7, so I'm gonna have to see if when I rewatch The Witch, because I'll definitely watch The Witch again.
Mhm.
But Lighthouse is definitely my favorite, like easily. Like,
Yeah.
there's no question.
Maybe we just put too
yeah.
much like expectations on the movie because it's like how do you surpass like literal perfection?
Literally, yeah. But yeah,
Anyway.
that's the Northman.
Yeah, that's the Northman. You want to get into Jesus, I gotta okay, everything, everywhere, all at once. Got it. Yeah. So
Nice, you said the title right.
it was it was like such a mouthful. It's like when I was telling my friends about the movie, I was like, "You want to go see every Jesus Christ?" Like it's like
Everyone.
fumbled.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, everyone. God damn it, I messed it up already. Yeah. So, what did you think about everything, everywhere, all at once?
I thought it was great.
Hell yeah.
I loved it. Yeah. Yes. And that's what I did get to see at a theater. Thank you, South Africa.
Nice.
Yeah. It was. Must I start? Do you want to start?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was. I guess spoilers, because I literally don't know how to
We
talk
can't
about
talk
this.
about the movie without spoilers.
Without
And let's be
spoilers.
real, everyone has already seen it by now, in the US at least. It's like been a month since it's like released and it's still going strong, which
Yeah.
thank you for that. United States, by the way, you're not completely dumb, but we gotta talk spoilers. Anyway, yeah, keep going. Yeah, so
Yeah, this is like one of those movies that everyone can watch and everyone can enjoy, despite being weird and like kind of quirky and have the random humor and stuff and random things. Because it's in the title of this movie. There is a lot of things in this movie. Technically speaking, not everything, but for standards of what you can put into a movie, this film pretty much has everything. Like the score's doing everything, the cinematography and the aspect ratios doing everything, the fucking the visuals and like just humor and stuff that you see on screen is doing everything. The performances are doing everything. This movie is doing everything.
yeah.
And it's great, and it definitely succeeds from that.
And can
and
I just
despite
say
having like
Oh, sorry,
all
keep
this-
going. Yeah.
yeah. And
Uh-huh.
despite having like a lot of chaos and a lot of randomness to it, all that randomness is in service of the plot and what the themes of the movie are, and it makes complete sense, and it's great, and they handle it very well. Way better than the randomness and quirkiness to Swiss Army Man, in my opinion. So,
Oh yeah, definitely. Cause like I'd seen Swiss Army Man a long time. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but like I think the reason why I couldn't really get into that movie is that like I think the quirkiness and like the weird funny humor like overpowered like the more serious elements they were trying to achieve. But with this, it's like
Yeah.
it's just such a perfect balance between the two. Like in 1 minute, like in one scene, like someone shoving a dildo up their ass to like do like kung fu shit, and then the
Yeah.
next minute, like someone's like going on about how like nothing matters and like they want to like commit suicide by jumping into a everything bagel like black hole
Yeah.
because like life doesn't matter. It's like this is a movie that throws a lot at you, but it doesn't feel overwhelming at all. It doesn't feel like it's like the movie has like a lot of exposition, but it doesn't drown you with it, and it's not boring
Yeah.
either. Because like you said, like you mentioned the aspect ratios, like I love that like little shit like that. Like I've
I
seen the
love it
movie,
too.
I've seen the movie 3 times actually, and I've noticed like more and more little details. And like you know,
Yeah.
one of the first moments of like the ratio change was when I'm gonna mispronounce his name. Ki Huai Kwan, I think his name is. He plays Waymond.
Yeah.
When he like
Hee
eats the,
Kwan.
yeah, like Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Yeah, when he like chews like the lipstick thing, and then like you know, and when he like turns on his like mental like his earpiece
Yeah.
or whatever, and like the aspect ratio changes from like full screen to like I think
Like
we're-
cinema mode.
yeah, cinema mode. It's like
Yeah.
holy shit. Like and you said mentioned the music. The music, oh my god! Like during that fanny pack fight scene, like that was everything was just incredibly well structured. And like
Yeah.
I grew up watching like Hong Kong martial arts action films. Like guys like
Oh
Jackie.
wow, yeah.
Guys like Jackie Chan and Donnie Yen and Jet Li, like these guys were my heroes growing up, and like to see like the aspect ratio change and like and to see like and to hear the type of music they use and like to see like such incredibly well choreographed action sequences is like I was so incredibly happy, you know, like as a fan of martial arts movies, you know. So
Great, yeah.
mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it's like I mentioned before, and like it has surprisingly a lot to say, you know, like it has a lot to say about Asian identity. It has a lot to say about, you know, toxicity and miscommunication. It has a lot to say about, you know, just like what's the meaning of life, like what's the point of life if like nothing matters.
Yeah.
And like it has a lot to say about like mental health and like depression and suicide. It's like it surprisingly throws a lot at you, but like I mentioned, it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel out of place. Like everything feels so perfectly like in tune. It's like a like a well-tuned piano. It's like everything is crisp and perfect, and they just keep throwing like all these things at you, but like you just want more. It's not like, oh my god, like stop throwing all this stuff at me. You want more. It's like, please give me more, you know. And it's like, and it's all that is really exemplified with Michelle Yeoh's performance, who, by the way, like this is easily her best performance, easily. Like we all know her as like the badass action star from stuff like Super Cop with Jackie Chan or like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and stuff like that. But like she gives a genuinely like emotional performance. Like you can see it like even in the first like couple of minutes of the film where like she has to confront her dad and like she has to lie to her dad about how like, you know, her daughter's like a lesbian and stuff like that. It's like you can tell just from little moments like that just how like worn down and beaten down and pressured like this character is. And like you can see it throughout the rest of the movie when she like gains like martial arts powers and stuff like that. And it's like and she's really funny too. Like she really knows how to like give both an emotional performance and a funny performance at the same time. So I'm sorry for talking so much. It's just like, I love the movie and I have so much to say. Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we haven't even mentioned that this is like a fucking multiverse movie yet. Like,
oh yeah,
this movie, like, yeah, like it knows what it is. It knows like its concept is insane and wacky and just rolls with it. So
it just
hard.
goes for
like,
it. Yeah. So
that fucking Ratatouille shit, or like
Ratatouille, yeah.
Ratatouille, that shit was so funny.
It came out of nowhere, but I was laughing my ass off. I was like, what the hell? Yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked how they like kind of like broke like the fourth wall and like showing like Michelle Yeoh as like a movie star and like actually showing like movies that she's been in. That was just like crazy to me. Like, they do so much with like the concept. It's really great. Like,
who knew this movie does a better job of being a multiverse movie than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah, I kept on thinking of like what Marvel fans would think of this movie, because like
they would be confused.
They would be confused, but like when I think about a Marvel movie, like it's in ways it's weirdly similar to this kind of movie, or not really similar to this kind of movie, but like
tone-wise it's similar, I guess I would say.
Yeah, like except if you watch a Marvel movie as an action comedy like this, or even like a multiverse with a ton of different characters, this movie does that way better in all those aspects.
Oh, like, yeah, definitely. Like this,
and that's what I loved about it so much. Like, Like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
this
just
does this better than like the two Marvel movies that have multiverses, like Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange 2, you know? So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like those movies, like they kind of use the multiverse thing as like a crutch. They kind of use it as an excuse to like do a bunch of bullshit fan service things. But like this
yeah,
movie, like it's important to the plot. It's integral to the plot. It's like if you took this out of the movie, like it wouldn't be the same film, you know? It's like
yeah,
it
literally.
drives the story of the movie, while like in Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, you literally could like surgically remove the multiverse angle, but wouldn't change a single thing. It wouldn't change the plot of those movies whatsoever. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it kind of reminded me of like visual. Well, not reminded me, it's just that like I got tone wise and presentation wise, like I got a lot of like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse vibes. Speaking of another superhero multiverse movie,
I got like mad Edgar Wright vibes
oh
from like
yeah,
the
yeah, that too,
presentation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking Spider-Verse in terms of like presentation and like kind of like fully committing to like how wacky it's like its tone and its like
Yeah.
in its genre is. You know, it reminded me of that, and I was like, it was weird. It's like for how wacky and like insane this premise is, you know, the fact that I could just so seriously invest in what was happening, it's like it really kind of goes to show like how well these guys have improved since like Swiss Army Man. I've never seen The Death of Dick Long, but I think like they also directed that one too or something, or
So one of the directors directed The Death of Dick Long.
okay, yeah.
Not Daniel Schneider. So
Not Daniel Kwan. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
not Daniel Kwan. Because that movie has like The Death of Dick Long has like no Asian like reference or similar or like just imagery in it at all. But it
That
was
makes
great.
sense,
I
yeah.
watched Swiss Army Man and The Death of Dick Long before watching this because I had never watched them. I wasn't too big on Swiss Army Man, but I really loved The Death of Dick Long.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll check
yeah.
it out. Yeah, I've never seen it too. Yeah, so
And like with the effects and like the visual style, like there's so much to like chew on and like find hilarious and like gain and like notice. It's yeah, they really do a lot with it. Like some of the stuff did get like a bit annoying. Like the hot dog hand was kind of weird.
I
at
found that
points.
really funny. I was like,
No,
I
no,
was
I found
laughing.
it
Yeah,
funny.
so yeah.
And I like that they explored it like that world to the extent that they did. But it just made me uncomfortable sometimes, like the sounds that they use for those fingers.
Yeah,
were,
when they
like...
put the hot dog fingers in their mouths and like
Yeah.
mustard and ketchup, like
Yeah, no, that was
squeezes it.
glorious.
I was like, oh my, this is a good movie. This is a very good movie. I was having
Yeah.
so much fun with that. Yeah, and it's like,
And one thing I really loved was in the beginning when Evelyn was like talking to Laurie Strode, and then like Laurie Strode brings up like the list of all her like careers or hobbies, and she says like, oh, singer, chef, actor, sorry, and then like how all of those relate to all the different
they all come back.
multiverses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
it's I really liked all like the things to pick up and notice, and like yeah, even with the bagel thing, like there's such thing as an everything bagel, which is so funny that was like the like the hook of the movie, like the main conflict.
Yeah, and I was just like
yeah.
I was just
And
really
it was very
like,
funny as well.
and it was funny when like, I don't know if this was like a foreshadowing thing, but like when like Short Round from Indiana Jones, like he like eats the bagel, he's like, oh my god, cream cheese. It's like
Yeah.
in my universe, like all the cows died off or whatever. It's like that was really fun. This is a really funny film. Like there was never a dud in the movie at all. I was laughing pretty much at all the right moments, you know, like obviously
Yeah.
during like the hot dog like finger moments, but like even like the moments as well where it's like obviously it's played for laughs, like when Evelyn and her daughter Joy, they're both like rocks or whatever in like the nature documentary parody. That was really
like
funny.
that one.
I was laughing my ass off during that scene, but it was also like, but they also, it's these guys should just know how to use humor to like tell these
Yeah.
very poignant, like very like real themes, like the whole like because during that scene, like Joy Rock is like explaining how like yeah, this is I like being here. It's like you can just sit here and just like examine how peaceful everything is because like
Yeah.
humans fuck everything up. They like ruin everything and stuff. It's like it's really funny, but it's like it's humor used to like also go the extra mile of like revealing how like fucked and like how like the thematic elements that they're exploring in the film. It's really well done. I was so invested. I was so interested, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah, and I really liked the like we've talked about the human like, but there also is like some really like good dramatic moments. Like in the movie, it talks about how like every decision you make leads to like a different like multiverse and like string of yourself,
mhm.
and like that's like often a thought that I have happen a lot. Like, and it's kind of explored in this movie. Like, what if I made this decision, and how would my life be if I made that decision, and
What if
what
I
if I did
chose
this?
blueberry bagels instead of an everything bagel?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like it makes you think about all those choices and how like even though um Evelyn was living the worst version of herself in this multiverse, she still made the best out of it in the end, and like that's something that like really kind of relates to me, like you know, because maybe everyone's living the worst version of themselves in this multiverse that we're in right now,
Mhm.
like nothing matters. That was like kind of a theme of the movie, and yeah, it's really great how they express themes and stuff like that. It was done really well, and yeah.
And yeah, I just like even in the action scenes, like they know how to like it's like never they don't stop like they don't it's not like a Marvel movie where it's like okay, action scene time, like let's stop everything to like have this action scene. It's like they
Yeah.
continue like one of my favorite action scenes was like during that scene where like all those like guys they Evelyn and her family were in like the BDSM like safe or whatever, and like she had to like keep switching to like different weird shit, so like you know
Oh,
she like
yes,
swallowed
yeah.
a frog and then she gained the powers of like you know like her when she's like spinning around like the pizza sign or whatever,
Yeah.
and she uses that to like block all their attacks with the shield and like
Yeah,
kick
that
their
was
ass and
awesome.
stuff like that. It was like it's like this movie never stops. It's like it's constantly like you know like oh like we're not going to stop telling the story just because there's an action scene. We're going to further the plot of the movie. So like now she has the powers of like you know what are those called? Like a Benihana like chef or whatever, you know, like
Yeah.
and now she has like because she sniffed a fly. Now she has like super extreme strength with her pinkies, like, and she uses that to like push away her dad and stuff like that. It was like they constantly just continue the plot. They continue the story
Yeah.
of what they're trying to tell, even during those action sequences. It's like it's so good. It was like it kind of reminded me
Yeah.
of the Matrix, you know, like because in the Matrix they use those action scenes to like further the plot as well, like that fight scene between Neo and Morpheus where it's like he's
Yeah, that's
explaining
true.
like how like the algorithm works and stuff like that while a fight scene is going on. It reminded me of that. It was so good. It was so awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love this movie, and I could talk about this for an hour. I want to keep talking about this, you know. So yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and just like while we're on the topic of like action scenes and them doing things within the action sequences,
Hmm.
another thing that they blended really well together was when jokes were used within the action sequences, because there were plenty of moments when like they kind of there was a joke within the action scene, but like you said, it's never like a Marvel movie where like they stop, say a joke, and then carry on with the action. Like the jokes were incorporated into the action sequences, and obviously, and they even were moments where they kind of stopped to make a joke, but it works so much better in this kind of thing because the action sequences are so over the top and played like less seriously, and you're meant to have more fun with them and stuff like that, while
Uh-huh.
still progressing the story and aiding to the tone, which I appreciated and liked a lot.
It's like a
Like,
perfect combination. Like I referenced like
yeah.
those guys like shoving dildos up their like
Yeah,
assholes
like
to
when they
like
look
yeah.
at like the trophy, and then like like that was great, and then
Yeah,
like they
they're
all
fighting
like
over
go towards the trophy.
and
Yeah.
the guy, the security guard that like jumps out of nowhere and like
Yeah.
he has his like dick out and like and obviously it's like censored, but like he has his dick out and he's jumping like on the dildo. He's like screaming,
And
ah, and
even
like
the
yeah.
censored like made sense. Like maybe that person was from a multiverse where like all the the private parts are sent
Oh,
to
I
and
didn't think about it
stuff.
because I was thinking about it
Yeah,
from like
like
the whole like because like other Evelyn is like the action star Evelyn is watching the movie. Like obviously they gotta censor that while they're watching.
yeah,
the
that's
film.
also another
Yeah,
thing.
that's like
it makes
it's
even
like
more
it doesn't
sense.
come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like and make because like they could have shown like penis, I guess, if they wanted to, but like they like they it's like the more you think about it, the more you're rewarded for like having these different experiences. It's like
Yeah.
it could like oh maybe this is a different universe, you know, or maybe it's just
Yeah.
action star. It's like constantly. And speaking of which, like that action star Evelyn, like during that universe, like that was when I kind of really fell in love with Short Round's character because he kind of explains to her like why he kind of like acts like the ditzy, like sort of stereotypical like Asian man, like beta male character or whatever. Like I
Yeah.
as like an Asian American, like this isn't problem I've had with like and this is especially the case in like older films like with Asian characters where it's like they portray these kinds of people as like beta cuck males who's like oh I'm sorry and stuff like that, but like he explains like they're kind of subverting that trope a little bit when he's like, you know, like the reason why I act this way, it's not because I'm weak, although you might think that I am weak. It's like the way that you use your fist to like, you know, showcase how strong you are. Like I use my mind, I use my personality to kind of like diffuse conflicts. I use it to like make things a little better when things get heated and stuff like that. It's like this is how I fight, like this is how like I win the war and stuff like that. It's like it's really subversive and it really builds his character as well. It showcases like why he acts this way and like why, you know, he has such this bubbly personality in the first place because like optimism, he has to be optimistic because like happiness is worth fighting for. These are the things that like he wants to see happen. He wants everyone to be happy. He wants to live in a happy world. So it's like he can't afford to be grumpy. He can't afford to be pessimistic like Evelyn is because like he wants everyone, including himself, including his family, to live like in a much better world. Because if he keeps up this optimism, then like this is his way of like fighting against like the darkness and stuff like that. And it was like it was so well communicated and it was like so emotional, you know. So I kind of teared up during that moment. So
Yeah. But yeah, it was. Despite all my praise, I think I do have a little tad.
Oh my god! Don't ruin this.
It's nothing that will ruin it. It's just something that like a lot of people haven't even been experiencing. Maybe it's just me.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. Yeah.
No.
So, yeah.
I just think I have to like just mention it to justify my rating.
Yeah.
I just think towards the end of like the pace of the movie was really well done. Up until towards the end, where kind of Evelyn that she's gonna fight with like love instead of like actually beating the shit out of everyone. She's like gonna try help them realize like who they are and stuff. I think it went on for a bit long, like her trying to like cutting between every single multiverse and like exploring those characters. Like it made total sense in like developing them and stuff. But I think it got a bit repetitive at points, and like at some points when there was like action scene after action scene after action scene, I just felt like the pace lost me a bit. But
okay, yeah.
Like even though all of them were great, like I think I personally just needed like a tad bit of a breather, because like I remember like there was a moment where I thought like the action scene would like chill for a bit and then it carried on going. I don't really know how to describe the specific moment.
You mean like you mean like so like after the scene where Laurie Strode like smashes her head in the wall, like then there's a fight scene with like and then towards the end as well, like as soon as Evelyn wakes up, like
again like at the bottom of like the office building, like with all the plants, like there's immediately another action scene, and then I felt like that was like a bit too much like at points, but like despite that, like it was a great film. A great film.
I guess I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I wasn't really bothered by that because like I'm the type of guy who loves like constant like craziness after craziness. Like I mean I love Sam Raimi, I love Edgar Wright, and like all of their movies like are just loaded with shit like that. So like I was just like I was really entertained like constantly. So I guess I wasn't really bothered by that. But that does
Yeah.
make sense. Like
I think at the end, like I just really wanted to see like how Joy and Evelyn would like how like Joy would help out Evelyn like with like when she was like hugging everyone, you know, like I just really wanted to see like how they would solve it with Joy. And then when she had to go through every single other person and we had to watch all of their backstories like before getting to Joy, and then when she gets to Joy, like there was even a bit of hesitation there as well. Like I think I was just so excited to see how they would handle it that I was just getting a bit like impatient before that. Like I think if I watch it again, I'll definitely like be more wary in that scene when it comes. I think that was just like a kind of first time watch thing for me. But
I feel
yeah,
like they
that's
still.
my.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I was about to say what you were gonna say. Like they still managed to keep like the great tone despite like going into everyone's backstory and stuff. And some of the other Evelyns were like really interesting to me, and then some of the other ones like after a while I stopped caring about the Ratatouille one. Like it was funny at first, but when they kept going back to it, like same with the hot dog fingers one as too. Like I like that they explain that like they use their feet and stuff.
That was cool. Yeah,
I like the level of development that they explored each of these multiverses. But like yeah, I think they lingered on them a bit too much than they needed to, because I was just in love with like the OG Evelyn, you know. But yeah, that's just me.
It's weird that the most normal universe one is the Wong Kar-wai like homage parody one.
Yeah,
that was weird. I mean, you know, I'm happy with that, but you know, so to your point about so wait, so let me clarify for something for a second. But so you mentioned how like so during that scene, that final scene where Evelyn chooses to use love instead of like beating the shit out of people at the end, and like they had all these backstories like for them, like the Rakakuni guy, like, you know, he used his hair to like, you know, get them out of the way, and like the guy who's like, you smell like my wife when she had that perfume,
that
whatever
guy, all of that.
So like, are you saying like they didn't have that for Joy? Because I feel like they did. They had that.
No, they did have that for Joy. I was really excited to see what they were going to do for Joy. Like I just wanted them.
Oh,
to
you
get
just
to
wanted
Joy
to get
sooner.
to that sooner. Yeah. Okay.
Like the perfume guy, I didn't really care about. Like there were some that like I did care about. Like I think the movie star Evelyn was definitely a good one to explore. And I think there was another one, the singer. Oh no, they didn't really explore the singer one. Like there were a few that I was really interested in, but like some of them like did get a bit much. Like I kind of lost interest in.
Well,
in
I
some
feel
of
like
them.
the singer one, like it was very subtle, but I feel like it really explored the dad character, like Evelyn's dad, a little bit. Because like that's the only one where he isn't like a massive asshole. Like that's the only one where he's like he's actually kind and sweet and gentle to Evelyn, and I think that in of itself is also kind of like a commentary on that kind of like dad character as well. It's like the only time when he isn't like a massive dick is like when Evelyn is literally blinded, one, and two, like she has like this incredible singing talent and stuff like that. It's like it really kind of showcases. I mean, like I plan on discussing this more in my video, like when I get into it. But it's like a without going too in depth, it's like it was really poignant, but it's also very subtle. So like I'm not like I totally understand if some people like didn't pick it up. But like the actual like scene in Evelyn where like it was a scene where like they're celebrating like the Chinese New Year and stuff like that, and like she goes to the car,
I loved all of that.
And she's like breaking down. She's like, just let me go. Like, can't you see that like I'm this massive like fuck up? Can't you see that like, you know, you don't want me, and that like just let me go, and like let her go her separate ways. And I think that scene mirrors a lot of what happens, you know, during the early like multiverse scenes, because like there are two directions that she goes. She either like stays with Short Round and she pisses off her parents, or she stays with her parents, and because what when she leaves, the dad's like, you're not my daughter anymore, you've just like, I've disowned you, like, get out of
Yeah.
here. And she was almost going to do the same thing, but she kind of like, she takes a step back and she realizes, no, I can't make the same mistake that my dad made. Because if
Yeah.
you really think about it, the dad does the same thing to Joy. When Joy becomes a bad guy, like, he just
Yeah,
abandons her. She's like, oh well, now we gotta kill her, like, take this box cutter knife and like stab
Yeah.
the shit out of her. Like, it's like she makes the decision to go, no, like, you're not leaving. Like, she's like, you're fat, and like, you don't call, and like, you only come when you need something. It's like, yes, you're this massive fuck up, and yes, they're this screw up, but I still love you, I still want to be with you. And like, I don't care that you have these flaws, I'm gonna stop pretending that the reason why you're this way is because of your decisions. No, it's like, this is just who you are. But I'm not going to stop pretending. Instead, I'm going to accept you for who you are. I'm going to love you for who you are. And that was fucking powerful as shit. That was beautiful as fuck. And it was so well communicated, so well acted. I was like, oh my God. Like, and yeah, you're right. That also was my favorite scene. Like, that was also my favorite moment. It's like, in this movie with like weird kung fu crazy shit, this is like my favorite scene in the entire film. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So,
I know, right? I
yeah.
know, right? I
Mhm.
agree. And I just want to clarify, like, when I said that, like, I wasn't into all of the random multiverses, I don't mean throughout the whole film. Like, throughout the whole film, they definitely had their significant purpose, and I did like enjoy like most of the aspects of all of them. It's just like in the end when they had to like kind of rush through all of them,
Yeah.
and like wrap them up all at the end. Like, I think that it just felt a bit long. But again, like on a second watch, I'll probably be more used to it and know what to expect, and like it a lot more.
And I
but
guess
yeah,
I could kind of agree with you when you
Yeah.
say like some of them overstayed their welcome a little bit.
Yeah, like I just feel like like the hot dog one and like the ratatouille one, like I did like them in the moments, but and I did appreciate the level they did in explaining the details and how the universes worked.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, at the end, I guess I just felt like I wanted them to rush a bit more towards getting to the Joy and Evelyn stuff and not having to focus on all the other ones just at that moment. But yeah, I still like them. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about the movie, though. I definitely want to see it again, obviously.
I would see. I've seen it 3 times. If someone wants to go see it with me and watch it for a 4th time, hey, I'd more than happy to. I'd love to. Yeah. So, I think if you took my entire personality and made it to a movie, this is the closest thing you'd get to that. Like,
oh wow, that's great.
like, the only thing that's missing from this movie, like from my personality, is that like there's a 30-minute anime section. Like, if it just had that, basically my personality like exemplified in a movie. And maybe that's why I loved it so much. Maybe that's why I connected it with so much, because like there was so much I appreciated about it. There was so much that I could like see myself in and invest in, and like, and also just kind of like just sit in awe and like, those like really well choreographed action sequences, and like the direction of the film is really awesome as well. Like, I'm the type of guy who hates like shitty, like quick cut, shaky cam action bullshit. And like the way that the action sequences would just go on and on. Like, I was surprised during that scene where like those 2 guys like had dildos up their assholes. It's like there was surprisingly very little cuts. Like, they just kept going and going and going. Like, they wanted to like keep the action in the cameras for as long as possible before they had to cut. And they did that with like the fanny pack fight scene too. It's like, I love like, and this is why I love like martial arts, like Hong Kong movies. It's like they know how to do action. They know how to film action. Like, Jackie Chan has this philosophy where it's like, don't cut, like don't like keep everything in the frame, like just keep going and like keep it rolling as long as possible before we have to cut to the next shot or next scene or whatever. It's like, and they sorry, and they use that, and they take that philosophy and just run with it. It's like, don't cut until we absolutely need to, until it's like physically impossible for us to like can keep this going and move on to the next shot. Just
Yeah.
like keep it going, keep everything in the frame. Don't do this shaky cam bullshit. Just like keep it going as long as possible. It's like everything that I desire out of an action scene, they just pulled it off so well. And these are directors
Yeah.
who like I don't really associate with like actions. I don't think there was like any like insane action scene in like Swiss Army Man, right? It has been a while since I've seen it, but like I don't think
There is like no, yeah, Swiss Army Man's mainly like the quirkiness. There's like I guess one kind of no, it's not even similar to this at all. There's like no action.
yeah, that's what I
And-
thought. Yeah,
And the death of Dick Law, the Dick of Death Law.
the dick of
the that movie doesn't have any action in it at all either.
Mhm.
Well, like it has slight action, but
Mhm.
like yeah,
And I love action stars who are like willing to commit to like doing all the action stunts themselves. It's like Michelle Yeoh is an action star that I have always loved when I was a kid. Like ever since I saw her in Super Cop, the third Police Story movie. You know, like she didn't learn martial arts like Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee. Like she came from like a dancing like background, but like she was able to use what she learned in dancing to like these action scenes where like you know like she would choreograph these fight scenes almost as if they were a dance. And I think that's why she can pull them off so well in this film. And because she's willing to put herself in those action moments, the way like she's willing to commit to like learning all of those individual fight moves and like you know learn like okay, this is the right moment to step here, this is the right moment to duck here, this is the
Yeah.
right moment to jump here. It's like I love these Jackie Chan / Tom Cruise style commitments from actors. It really showcases just how far and just how willing they are to like to make their craft as like great as possible, you know. And so like and I think like that's why I think Michelle Yeoh gives like not just a really great emotional like and like complex performance, but a really great physical performance as well. Like she reminded me like
Oh, yeah,
why I
totally.
loved her in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, why I loved her in Super Cop and all these other action films and stuff. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean I could go on all day, but like we've been talking about this a while. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up and give our ratings or
I don't think so right now on because I've only seen it once, so obviously you have a lot more to say to me.
Mhm.
Say about it. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add at the moment. It's just great. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. And I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. It's my favorite film of 2022 so far. So, but I don't
Yeah.
think, I can't imagine anything else beating this right now. And I have so many like anticipated films right now, but this is so far my favorite film of 2022. So,
Also, my favorite of 2022. Giving this, I guess, for this film because it's like number one on Letterboxd at the moment or something right now. Oh
it
wait,
got
no, it's
dropped to
it's
number 3.
number
Yeah.
3.
Come and
Yeah.
See and Parasite retook their 1 and 2 spots. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 for now. I think I can definitely push it up in like when I see it again. It's like it's like lingering on the edge of a 9, just like that like the one problem I explained earlier kind of held it at an 8 for me. But again, with a more open mind next time, maybe I can push it up. But yeah, it's great, and it's also my favorite movie of the year so far. So everyone should definitely watch it if for some reason you haven't already.
Everyone should watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, every
Yes.
moment.
Every second, every time,
minute of
every
every day of every
year,
every
of
era,
every
of every universe.